Hello, welcome to the Afrocentric Woman. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Um, this BWE space continues to be one of the most toxic, aggressive, demeaning spaces for mothers, unfortunately. And I think that this negativity towards mothers, it's an underlying there's an underlying energy of just being anti-life in general. And it just feels like very ungrateful. Like you motherfuckers are not grateful that somebody sacrificed their damn body to bring you in this earth. Like somebody was on the brink of death to bring you here. Even if they messed up afterwards, they still had to sacrifice themselves to bring you here. And the crazy thing about these people who pretend to hate male identification is that they're very male identified and very toxically patriarchal, and that a woman is not valid unless she's connected to a man. She's not worthy unless she's connected to a man. She's not legitimate unless she's connected to a man. Her children are not legitimate unless she's connected to a man. So you, the woman has no value. That's how these females see the world. These females see the world through very patriarchal lenses, and the sad part is they don't even realize it. They don't even realize it. Before I came on this, or in other words, I have always protected my child from social media. I always have. She's not on any of my personal social media. My family knows this as well. Don't post her on social media. Now, I don't knock other parents for what they do if they choose to put their children on social media, because everybody has their own individual comfort level, and I have my comfort level. I continue to be anonymous because I'm not here for attention. I don't really need attention like that. I don't need validation. I don't need people to tell me I'm cute. I already know that. I don't need that. I don't need to be accepted into some clique or gang or set. I don't need to do any of that. I'm self-sufficient. I feel good just rolling solo dolo. I don't need any of that. Any connection that I get is a bonus. I love humanity. I love people. I love connecting, but I don't feel entitled to it. It's something that flows. If it happens, it happens. I don't need certain access to certain this or that, or certain acknowledgement from this person or the third, or an apology from this person or the third. I don't care about any of that. But everyone's going to have their own personal comfort level with what they're comfortable doing online, and everyone's going to have their own comfort level when it comes to their children. You have to be It is a very low, despicable energy to disclose information about somebody's child that they had not put out there on their own. Because people do have a right to privacy, and nobody owes anybody anything. You don't have to disclose anything. The internet is here for you to share what you want to share. The internet is here for you to share what you want to share. You don't want to share it, then don't. Now, certain behavior I do expect from certain individuals. You know, it is to be expected because there's a pattern and you can read the pattern. But it is very contradictory to say that you're pro woman and then dox women. You're pro woman, but you're putting women life at in jeopardy. And this is something that I've talked about. Like, even if I disagree with someone, I think that people are entitled to safety, and especially with women, and especially in the climate that we're in today. Especially with the climate that we're in today. So it just speaks to character if if you fall out with someone and then you disclose their personal information, that has everything to do with you and your own character or lack thereof. Poor character, because you should be able to disagree with that person. That doesn't necessarily mean that you should want harm to come upon them. And if you disclose and dox their information, then you know you're setting them up for to be vulnerable for someone to harm them. And especially when people have already received threats on their life because people don't agree with their ideology. People don't agree with the things that they share online. We're living in a very violent time right now. We're living in a time where people, uh, you know, they feel like they can enact, violence upon people they disagree with, or if they feel disenfranchised, if they feel like you're disenfranchising them, and they just feel like they can be violent and murderous. And so, you know, this is the point where you just have to have got to have some standards of behavior. You have to have standards of behavior that even if you don't like someone, they don't do what you want them to do. They say something that you don't like. That doesn't mean that you put them and their family in danger, especially not mothers and women. Mothers are inextricably linked to the children. If the mother is in danger, then the child is in danger. And we've seen this. And then in the same breath say that you love women and that you're a protector. No, I mean, it's all very contradictory. It's all very contradictory because you're not behaving like that. Like, people are not behaving like that. You really care about women and mothers? Are you trying to just force uh you're just trying to force people to do what you want them to do? That's not a normal behavior, and it shouldn't be acceptable. It should be appalling. It should be repulsive, that kind of behavior. And when I look around in this community, I just don't see anywhere where mothers are really, there's no place where there's no refuge. There continues to be no refuge for mothers. No one even elevates this status of life, even though mothers sacrifice so much to bring the children on this earth. And the little snotty nosed, ungrateful bitches and hoes that have so much smoke for this mother because she's not good enough, or that mother because she's not. They mama is in the same damn situation, or was. Their mom was in the same situation. And here you are today with all your accolades and all your intellect and everything that you have. And you don't want to have any reverence for the portal that got you here. Okay, make it make sense. No reverence at all. And I can tell you, until the order is restored to where the uh the status of motherhood and the act of giving birth and life and sustaining the life of another person, until that construct is elevated to its proper phase, it will continue to be turmoil, chaos, and confusion. It will continue to be an anti-life society. It's just so bizarre that in the space that says that it loves Black women, hates Black mothers, make it make sense. For the life of me, I cannot wrap my mind around that. How do you have women without the mothers? A lot of these women are mothers. Love women, hate mothers. So much smoke from others. And every mistake that she like no compassion at all. None. Not for her safety, not any compassion about how she got to where she got, what the circumstances led to this or that. None. I've heard so many derogatory terms geared at mothers, somehow even equating having a child to a lack of intellect, especially if the child doesn't come in the proper configuration that these hoes deem acceptable in the patriarchal um in the patriarchal framework. It gotta be like this or else. And then if it ain't like this, then you ain't shit. I mean, what is the issue? Like, do you need to like work out some stuff with your own mom, or do you need mother figures in your life? Like, what is going on? And I don't bash childless women because I don't really see a point in that. I don't care. I feel like there's value in everybody who has value, but it's not mutually respected, unfortunately. The respect that I give is not reciprocated to me. The respect that I give to childless women, women who choose not to have children or can't or whatever, time ran out, whatever the circumstance is, the respect is given, but the respect is not reciprocated. Whether you pushed your child out, had an epidural, had a C-section, or whatever the case may be, either way it goes, you still put your life on the line. And we are responsible for raising the tiny humans who might watch after your ass when you're old in a home. It might be the tiny humans that we raise that we're trying to instill compassion and honor, dignity, respect your elders, be a good steward of the earth, be respectful, create something wonderful in this world, allow your life. We're pouring all of that into these children so that they can take care of your ass when you get old and you don't respect the job that we're doing. And then you want to complain when uh they're running amok. But for those who are pouring into the children, you have no respect and proper reverence for the act of mothering and parenting. And it's quite disgusting from people who say who love women but hate mothers. Or they say that they won't want to admit to it, but every other word. Like I can't get through any live stream without them disparaging single mothers. I can't get through not one, not one, not one, not one anywhere. It's like a fucking Tourette's. Like you can't get through the day without bashing single women. Mothers, why? Why can't you get through the day? Why can't you get through a 1 hour live stream? Why can't you get through a 2 hour live stream without bashing single mothers? What is in it for you? What are you gaining through it? Because you're certainly not curbing people getting pregnant, but people still doing what they doing. People gonna do what they do. This energy is unfortunate, and I do believe that a massive just reset is necessary in that area. And if folks continue to be um, have a negative and visceral energy towards mothers and women as an autonomous agent, okay, as an autonomous being, not in that she's been validated by this one or the third, but just her standing on her own 2 feet, that she's worthy and and belongs as as she is, then we have a long way to go before we're really able to um really course correct and really elevate Black women. If Black women can't elevate themselves absent of some man validating them, then we're still have a long way to go. We have a long way to go because in this space, just like in many other spaces, Black mothers continue to be under attack. There's just like, there's no code of conduct. There's no like, oh, I wouldn't go this far. You know, I won't go this far. I won't go that far. At least I'll protect the women and the children and the elders. I mean, I can be very upset about a lot of things, but I certainly am not gonna like threaten an elderly woman. Like, I don't know. It's just it's not becoming. It's not Tony Tough talk. Like, it's like beating up like a toddler or something. Like, that's not anything to brag about. An elderly woman? Come on. And all of this is cloaked in some pseudo philosophy about supposedly loving Black women, but it's impossible. Like, it's impossible. I think you have to believe what you see and not what you hear. You have to believe what you see and not what you hear. Because when you watch for patterns and you watch for behavior, that will tell you what you really need to know. But it's hard, I think, especially when people are very, like keep driving home the same thing, or they keep saying the same thing over and over and over again, almost like puts you in a trance to believe them. It can, and I think a lot of people use that as a tactic. Keep just reiterating the same thing over and over and over again, and then throw in something outrageous and then go back to saying the thing and then throw in something else outrageous and then make threats and then dox and do all of these crazy things and then wrap it up in this I love Black women bow. And it's just a gumbo of chaos, confusion, treachery, and um, contradiction. It's so sad that as a Black mother, you can't even walk into many spaces without so many people thinking so many negative things about you. They don't even know you. All they know is that you have a child. That's it. Your child could be a prodigy or whatever, it doesn't matter. Because in a many sense, women in this space have a manosphere idea of Black women, that children devalue you, they lower your value, and if some man doesn't choose you, then you're unworthy of anything, any type of respect. You're stupid, you're this, you're that, you're ignorant. It doesn't even matter the circumstances that happened. It doesn't matter. Like, if they don't have anything in common with the manosphere, they have that in common with the manosphere. They mutually despise single mothers and single women in general. They also have in common that they can I'm sorry if y'all hear that in the background. I think they're out doing the yard today. The yard people are using a leaf blower. But another thing that they have in common is doing having really bad behavior and then make justifying it, you know. Oh, well, this person made me mad, or oh, this happened, or oh, that happened, so therefore I'm doing this thing. They can justify most any horrible behavior. There's no bottom. It doesn't seem to be a bottom. Like there's no parameters. Like, okay, well, we'll go this far, but not that far. Like they just go beyond what should be acceptable. Acceptable conduct. Oh, they just push right on past that. Anybody can get it. Babies, grandmamas, anybody can get it. When they're, go on these tirades, anybody can get it. The unborn, mothers, elderly women, babies, anybody can get it. And they will feel justified in their behavior. Same thing with the manosphere. Same thing with everybody that's doing all this violence. They also have excuses for their behavior as well. So and so, da 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 da. I'm disenfranchised, or whatever the case may be. Oh, I don't have a fair shake in life. Or I should be entitled to this, or I should be entitled to that, and I don't get it. And my tantrum is violent in words or violent in deeds, violent in doxing, violent in exposing personal information. Girl, with friends like that, you don't need no motherfucking enemies, okay? Kind of fucking friend. And I had a feeling a long time ago because I think it's a bad sign. I think it's a bad sign if someone's always throwing in your face or like constantly making references to the fact of, oh, but I'm their friend. I'm their real friend. Oh, I'm your real friend. Oh, but I really know you. I'm really your friend. Like that's bizarre behavior. And a real friend is not going to somehow try to coerce or manipulate you due to their association with you. That is a major red flag. If you ever have anybody doing something like that, just know that something bad is brewing, and something most certainly was in this case. And I knew that it was because I always thought that was bizarre behavior. If you're really a person's friend, you don't need to make that announcement over and over, over and over and over again. The friendship just is what it is. And but with friends like that, you definitely don't need any enemies. Sometimes people grow apart, or sometimes you're friends and then you're not anymore. But I think for normal people, they would never um, think to themselves about destroying the other person because the friendship is over. The person doesn't do what you want them to do. Sometimes you really want people to do certain things. I've had tough conversations with people who I'm even no longer friends with. And, and it's okay. I want them to thrive in their life. I don't want to be their friend. I don't necessarily want to hang out with them, but I don't want anything bad to happen to them. I wouldn't get on the internet and dox their information or tell personal things about them because the friendship is now over. It's just the friendship is over. But when you really have like a respect for humanity and you're a good person, you don't do things like that. You just allow things to just move on and you just move on, you know. Such a toxic cocktail of like manipulation and control, delusion, um, so much. And it's also very like unexplainable as well because I don't get it. It's just too much. Just let it go. And it's hard also because sometimes there's truth mixed with lies, and I think that's what makes it can hurt the truth when you're spewing truth and lies. It can hurt the truth because then people start to question what really is the truth. You know, you're calling out certain individuals that may be very toxic, but you're also there's a lot of collateral damage in your rampage. It really undermines uh, everything you say. It's just questionable and can't be, it just can't be taken at face value when this type of behavior accompanies this so-called truth telling. And this just, I know this has been a bit of a conversation all over the place, but it is all rooted in um, a lack of reverence for women and mothers. And that is why this type of behavior is able to be put on women and mothers. Like extra stuff that is beyond the public sphere. Um, I'm not, I've talked about certain people, including women, every now and then, but everything has been in the public sphere. I wouldn't be taking information from someone's private life and putting it online, especially if it's not hurting anyone. If you want to do something in your house, you know, if you want to do something in your house and it's not hurting the general public, that's your fucking business. That's your business. Now, if you're doing something that's obviously hurting society or you're scamming or something major, then yeah, maybe that should be brought to the public as a public, warning about a scammer or something like that. But someone's personal configuration of their family is really nobody's business. It really is not nobody's business. I don't care. Like, you married, you're not married, you got this, you got that. At the end of the day, like, what is it? Don't matter. It don't make us a bit of a difference what they got going on in their personal life, in their personal household. I'm drinking my coffee, y'all. But just to be vindictive and mean spirited, oh gosh, it's just very appalling. It really, really is. I kind of get it, but I kind of don't because it's just over the top unnecessary. It's over the top unnecessary. It really is. I mean, I have a real question though. Like, why do you think that a lot of people can't get through a live stream without bashing single mothers? Especially if it's a single woman um in Wyoming living her life, like why is she bothering you? Why do you get up in the morning and think to yourself, I'm gonna get on and make a live stream about that single mother in Wyoming. She's so stupid. She got three baby daddies. She got two baby daddies. And they not your fucking baby daddies. Why are you worried about her baby daddies? Why do you care? I mean, like, this is a real question. Why do you think it bothers their soul so much? Do you think they have unresolved issues with their own single mom? What is the issue? For the women who can't get through a live stream without bashing single women, single mothers, why do you think that is? Why the vitriol? Why can't they just live their best single life, child-free life? Do they think single motherhood is a disease that they're going to catch or something? A lot of these women probably need to attend a birth and see what is involved with bringing life into this world. It's about the image of Black women. The image of Black women. Can you elaborate on the image of Black women? Can you elaborate on that? What do you mean by that? It's the image of Black women. That's a real question. Why do y'all think that a lot of women cannot get through a live stream without disparaging single mothers? It's so crazy because they'll have all these stereotypes and they're the same as the manosphere. And then you come on and they're like, "Oh, you're destitute and you're this and you're that." And you're like, "Oh, okay. That's interesting. You're ignorant and all this." And, and then you're like, "Oh, hi, by the way, I'm a single mom." They're like, "Oh, okay. I'm sorry." And it's just like, yeah, I understand and I can still be graceful even in the midst of being disparaged, but it's just interesting that that's your default. That's your default. Your default is just to go in and start disparaging. It's just like it's just like a knee-jerk reaction at this point, and it's not limited to Black males. I would say that the women do it just as much. Just as much, and it's just it's more hurtful because 'cause you're like, "Hey, like, I thought we were sisters," but no. She says, "They think that single mothers bring down the whole." That's interesting because without the single mothers, they wouldn't be here. That's what I'm trying to understand. And granted, their moms probably made 1,000 mistakes, but they're still here. They're still here. I think that there's a maturity. I think there's a level of maturity and delicacy by which uh, younger women need education on family planning and uh, relationships and fertility. I think that there's a level of maturity that's necessary to talk about that because you could talk about all of those things. You could talk about them very honestly, and you can give the raw truth about what it is to be parenting as a single unit. And you can do that without disparaging people's humanity at the same time. And I think that a lot of females do not have, I don't think that they have the range to do it, and they just need to leave the topic alone. They just don't have the range. They don't have the depth. They don't have the language. They don't have the reverence. Listen, if you lack the reverence from the beginning, if you lack the reverence from the beginning of what it takes a woman to incubate and birth a child and sustain the life, then you're already disqualified from speaking on the topic. You're already disqualified. It's a way to feel superior. And so when we get into this topic of superiority, inferiority, rank, and hierarchy, we're in the midst of toxic patriarchy, which is what I was talking about earlier today. You need to feel superior to someone who should be your sister. Yeah, that's a toxic framework. And I think that has to do with an underlying ideology and philosophy and point of view of life and the way, like, just the framework of life, if you would feel that you need to do that. Because then you can get into favoritism, You can get into pandering, you can get into being the chosen one, the special one. And whenever we get into that superiority, inferiority, favoritism, special one, chosen one, I'm that one, women lose. Women as a collective lose. We lose, and the children lose. You know, a life affirming uh, perspective on things is to value what everybody brings to the collective. Is to find something of value, a talent or a gift or a contribution, a bit of knowledge or wisdom of experience that anybody can contribute to the collective, and to see everybody as equal opportunity contributors to the higher and greater good of society. That's not patriarchy. That's something else. But a lot of y'all are triggered by the word matriarchy, so I'll try not to use that as not to trigger y'all. You can't do women empowerment in toxic patriarchal uh framework. You just can't. It won't work. You'll have women who'll be exploited. You'll have women who'll be devalued. You can't. You can pretend to do black woman empowerment in a toxic patriarchal framework, but it won't ever work. It won't succeed. It won't succeed. They also don't include the economic conditions of single mothers to show how money and power play a part in the quality of life of the child and the mother. Yeah, don't include the economic conditions. It's almost like if you meet a woman and she's single and she has a child, it's like they want to know her story before they will. I mean, like you can meet her and she's perfectly sweet and her child is perfectly sweet, but you will want to know her before so you can judge her. You will want to know her. So you will want to know, are you a widow? Okay, you can come over, sit over here. Oh, were you married and then you got divorced? Okay, well, you go over there because that's not quite as good. Are you in a long-term relationship? Okay, well, go over there because you're ranked below her. Oh, just you're in a short-term relationship. Okay, you go over there. You're ranked below her. So this is all the same woman. But the only factor that's changing is her relation to a man. And she is ranked and filed in society in order of respect based on a man. Tell me that's not patriarchy. I so-called love black women. I so-called love. But how, Sway? Same woman, same education, same sweet child, same sweet woman, ranked and filed based off a man. Tell me how you gonna love women when you can't judge the woman on her own 2 feet? I don't know, y'all. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna start my own ministry. I'm gonna do my own thing because this is sometimes people have um maybe some intellectual information and can spout facts and figures well. They know graphs and charts and they may be entertaining. They may deliver information in a passionate manner that garners viewers and listeners and all that jazz. Um, but philosophically, I'm on a different wavelength. one that is truly woman-centric and not superficially woman-centric in a patriarchal framework. I'm doing something different. I'm on a different wavelength. Because on that wavelength, anything goes. There's really no boundaries, very cutthroat and savage over there. Savage over there. I'm doing something different. My intention is that women can find refuge with women, and that women can find sisterhood with women, and that women can tend to their scars and their bumps and bruises in life among women and get the nurturing and love that they need to get better. Not a place to be devalued because you were a product of your environment, but that a place where you can see the truth and have a way out, have a way to improve yourself and to learn your value and to learn, what makes you special and know that you belong and know regardless of the circumstances of how, for mothers, regardless of the circumstances that the child came into the world, to know that you are a sacred portal that brought a being into this world. And that makes you, you know, special to be revered. That is a special thing. It's really a PhD of life that no books could ever teach you when you actually do parent and mother. You'll never know sacrifice and selflessness than when you are literally giving of yourself to sustain another life. And that motherhood in general is a source of life. Mothers are a source of life. Women are walking vessels of life. Spending time in communities that are very, very focused on children, and you see how much life is in the community, and you just kind of know why. The children are very important. Their safety, their education, their access to resources, paramount to community life. Everything pretty much revolves around the children. The grandparents and the great grandparents are very involved. People are always interacting with young people, whether it be through any of the schools or the universities, always integrating the young people into um, every fabric of life of the community. And the community is thriving, and just looking and observing, and then to go back to 2 hours where we hate mothers, we hate children, excuse me, they hate mothers, they hate children. Children are seen as a burden, and you wonder why the community is failing. It makes sense. The community is anti-life. Yeah, happy, rich, and pretty. You bring up a good point. This is why single moms run to stepdaddies and end up in a trap. Yeah, they do. A lot of times women in general. So it's not just single mothers, it's women in the Black community in general. The reason why Black women's standards are so low, part of the reason why their standards are so low is because they need to, in order to achieve a higher level of humanity within the Black community, to be seen as a whole person, you have to link yourself to a male. So a lot of times that's why when you hear Black women, the general population, talk about what they require, it's usually just companionship and to be around. It's like they don't really have a lot of standards because they really just need that link to make them a full human. Because you're not really a full human, especially when you get in the Black church. You can't even, certain churches, I grew up Kojic, you can't even walk certain places as a woman. Because I don't know, we're evil, we're Jezebels, we're whatever. And it's like that in a lot of churches. You are seen as inherently evil as a woman, and the only way to be redeemed is to link yourself to a male. And even that will not grant you full access to humanity. You can only go but certain places and only but so far. The patriarchy is very toxic to Black women. And Black women who say they love women are still trying to fight to maintain this oppressive order. They're fighting to protect it. They think that they can get some redemption or some salvation through this system. And that is rooted in favoritism and being the chosen special one. You're never going to achieve being the chosen special one. It's always fickle and ever changing. And the rules can change at any time, and you can be demoted or downgraded to just a lesser being. So long as this continues to be the way, women will continue to lose. Yeah, single shaming absolutely needs to end. Yeah, those there's, we could go through a whole list of cultural norms and sayings that uphold this. You don't have the ability to speak. You don't belong here. You can't be here, or your opinion doesn't matter, or your contribution to whatever we're doing doesn't matter because you ain't got no man. Where your man at though? you know? So you might have some female who's connected to some struggle bandit feel all emboldened and feel, you know, feel the need to like become a whatever or whatever because males validate her and give her a pass and say, "Oh no, yeah, we accept her, so she's the one you should listen to." And she could be spewing the most toxic rhetoric, but because she has validation from males, now she matters. That's how that community works. It's very dysfunctional. Very dysfunctional. If we really want to be respected as women, we have to begin to respect ourselves and respect each other as a start. Have some self respect. Carry yourself with respect. Give others respect, and you will attract respect. I mean, like, it has to start from within. We have to start challenging these toxic frameworks that are anti mother, anti women, and anti children, and have to start within, auditing and evaluating from within. That women are whole people. And mothers are special because mothers make a sacrifice of their own life to bring another life into this world. Period. Thank y'all for tuning in. I know this was all over the place, but I just wanted to share some random thoughts, and that's exactly how it flowed randomly. So we'll talk soon. Y'all have a blessed day. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Share the video, like the video. I appreciate you. Peace.